How's it going, everyone? So typically after the draft, most teams sign a bit of undrafted free agents to kind of round out their 90-man roster, whether it's an interest they had and they just didn't get undrafted or to kind of get more camp bodies. So the Packers have so far as of this moment signed 11 undrafted free agents onto their 90-man roster. So kind of just going through all the players at the certain positions and where they scored on the RAS, their 40-yard time, and their brief stats in college. So first off, starting with the running back group, they signed 2 running backs to the active roster. First one is Amar Johnson out of South Dakota State. He had a RAS score of 8.80 and ran the 40-yard time at 4.39 seconds, so a pretty fast running back. Depending on if you decide to Google his stats, there's a slight discrepancy. So on the actual South Dakota website for their stats at college, he ran a total of 2,866 rushing yards with 24 touchdowns. But on ESPN's site, they have them at about 300 more yards rushing due to the 2022 season. I think ESPN might have the wrong stat there, considering I'm going off the South Dakota site. But just in case you decide to Google it after watching the video, that could be why. Then after that, our second running back, Jalen White, out of Georgia Southern. Comes in with a RAS score of 7.71 and ran the 40-yard dash at 4.6 seconds. So a bit slower, but he is also slightly on the bigger side as well at 6 feet and 205 pounds. For his time at college, for his college career, 5 years at Georgia Southern, and ran for 3,016 rushing yards and had 36 touchdowns. Moving along to the next group, wide receiver. They signed 1 wide receiver, and that is Julian Fleming out of Penn State. Has a RAS score of 5.78. Comes in at a height of 6'1", weighs 214 pounds, but ran the 40-yard dash at 4.69 seconds, so a bit on the slower side. And his vertical and broad jump aren't anything to kind of pop off the number, so he's a little bit on the slower side, but they've brought him in to contest with the wide receivers. For his time at college, he spent 4 years at Ohio State, and then in his final year, transferred over to Penn State. In total, for his career, he has 93 receptions for 1,139 yards and 8 touchdowns. Moving along to the next position group, we have the offensive linemen. They signed 3 players onto the offensive lineman group. It's a little harder to get RAS scores on them, so I'm kind of going to use descriptions from acmepackingcompany.com. So first one is Tyler Cooper out of Minnesota, and they put that Cooper is Brugler's 28th ranked guard and was projected to be an undrafted free agent. He was a 2-year starter at left guard for Minnesota, but did play hundreds of snaps at right guard in his career. Despite being 6'5", he's projected to play inside at the next level. Then the second one is J.J. Lipp out of Northern Illinois. We do have a RAS score for him. He scored a 5.69, comes in at a height of 6'5", weighs 302 pounds, so a bit on the smaller side, and only did the bench press 17 times. And then on acmepackingcompany.com, brief description, it's one of the 3 schools in the Green Bay Packers local pro day blueprint, so it's highly likely that the team already brought him into town to talk ball. He was a 3-year contributor at NIU, playing 2,400 snaps at left guard. He's played all 5 positions at the college level, lining up at right tackle 297 times, right guard 144 times, center 91 times, and left tackle 43 times. And he's 6'5", 302 pounds. So he's got some versatility amongst the line. Then lastly, Brant Banks out of Rice. Their description of him, originally beginning his career at Nebraska as a backup, Banks spent the last 2 seasons at Rice as a starter. There, he was starting left guard in 2023 and the starting right tackle in 2024. Over his college career, he's played every spot but center. He's measured at 6'7", 306 pounds at Rice's pro day. So a very tall, but still 306 pounds, not towards the 320 pounds, and has some versatility amongst the offensive line as well. Now moving on to the defensive side, starting with the defensive line, we signed 1 player on there, and that is Nazir Stackhouse, defensive tackle out of Georgia. This is actually our recent draft pick of Warren Brinson's. This is his teammate who played alongside him. So he comes in with a RAS score of 6.21, height of 6'3", weighs 327 pounds, and ran the 40-yard dash 5.15 seconds. Unfortunately, don't have a bench press. That would be welcome, but we don't have that, unfortunately. Did play 5 years at Georgia, and for his career, he had 96 total tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and has 1 interception. Then moving a little further back, the Packers signed one linebacker, and that is Jamon Dumas Johnson out of Kentucky. Comes in with a high RAS score of 8.98, 6 feet tall, 238 pounds. Ran the 40-yard dash at 4.6 seconds, so a pretty fast 40-yard time, and is pretty explosive off the charts. Vertical 37.5 inches, and broad jump of 10 feet 6 inches. So a pretty athletic linebacker from the looks of it. For his time at college, he actually played 3 years at Georgia and then 1 year at Kentucky. So for his career, has 192 total tackles, 25 tackles for loss, and 13 sacks with 2 interceptions. So a pretty productive college career from what it looks like. Then moving a position back, we're looking at the defensive backs. The Packers signed 3 defensive backs to the group. So first one, Tyron Herring out of Delaware. Very nice to see a Delaware player get drafted or at least get picked up. But unfortunately comes in with a RAS score a little bit low at 4.27, and then at a height of 6'1", weighs 201 pounds, ran the 40-yard time at 4.49 seconds. And he's kind of right across the board, unfortunately, with a vertical jump of 31.5 inches and a broad jump of 9 feet and 11 inches. On the UD site for his career time playing there, he has 72 total tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 4 interceptions with 11 pass defended. Then moving along to the next player, Bugs Brown out of Florida Atlantic. Scored a RAS score of 7.3, comes in at a height of 6'1", weighs 223 pounds. Did the bench press 24 times. That's pretty impressive. But ran the 40-yard dash at 4.53 seconds and has a vertical jump of 37 inches with a broad jump of 10'1". And for his time over there, he actually played 3 years at Maine and then lastly at Florida Atlantic. In his final year, had 44 total tackles and 7 pass defended with 2 interceptions. Then lastly, it is he's considered a safety, but he's probably more of a slot corner. Brief description from Acme Packing Company to kind of get a gist of him. He's the most off-the-radar signing the Packers have had. He was 103rd ranked safety in the class. He did run a 4.5 second 40-yard dash at 190 pounds, which is a pretty good number for a player of his caliber. And according to PFF, he only played 92 safety snaps compared to 664 slot snaps in his final year at UNLV. So that's why calling him a safety is probably ill-advised. He's more of a slot player. And then for his career over there at UNLV, he had 211 total tackles for them, 15 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, and 6 interceptions. So it looks like a pretty good tackler. And also had 24 pass defended. So a decently productive, especially in the tackling department. And of course, I want to say it's because he was safety, but considering he barely played safety, mostly played slot corner, still nice to see that he has a pretty good tackling number. Hopefully he didn't miss too many tackles. And with those 11 rookies signed, that actually brings them to a 90-man roster. So potentially one of these players are actually just a rookie tryout, or we're going to see a release in the near future. But talking about rookie tryouts, they did invite a quarterback in Taylor Elgersma from Wilfrid Lawer to try out on the rookie minicamp. That's due to the fact that our passing game coordinator and Jason Vrabel was his offensive coordinator during the week of Senior Bowl practices, and he won the product of what's equivalent of the Heisman Trophy Award for their practices. So take that with what you will. So there's some knowledge beforehand, and they probably liked what he saw and probably asked if, hey, get a rookie tryout. So we'll see what happens during his rookie tryout. There's apparently a decent chance that he might make the initial 90-man roster if he does have a good tryout. If not, the Bills have also invited him for their rookie minicamp as well as a tryout. So we'll see what happens with all that. But let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, go Pack Go.